Get ready for an epic adventure as we hit the legendary Gibb River Road. With over 1,000 kilometres of untamed corrugations, we'll not only attempt to conquer the Gibb, but also tackle the roughest roads we've seen up to Honeymoon Bay and McGowans Island Campground. So buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. But before we hit the Gibb, we want to take you through how we prepare the car and the caravan to tackle the dirt roads. Fingers crossed that I haven't just jinxed myself. We're about to do the Gibb.
We're here.
Finally, we're out for our first adventure on the Gibb, and we're at Windjana Gorge. We're about to go into Tunnel Creek.
It's amazing. It's huge in here. It smells like guano. We just got to camp. We left a beautiful campsite this morning. We went through Broome. We met up with some friends, got some last minute supplies, and we headed out of town. We just pulled up in a bit of a roadside just for tonight. And tomorrow we're tomorrow is the start of the Gibb. So I haven't really had a chance, so I'm going to do it now while I've still got some zest in my step. I want to do just some checks. So at the moment, before I jumped on with you guys, Bianca made fun of me because we said we were going to document what checks we were going to do. Just sort of a bit like before we did the GCR. And I didn't film that either because I just get this mentality of like, okay, do it now. Otherwise, don't do anything else, just do that. Otherwise, you won't do it. So she made fun of me. So this is what I'm going to do. I've got my torque wrench. I've just started checking the wheel nuts on the truck. I've done the other 3 tyres and these are pretty much all done. Then I'll change the torque setting. So these are set to about 250. Those ones are on the Bushtracker. They're about 124, according to the forums, or 125 thereabouts pounds of torque. So that's just a setting on the wrench there. The next thing I'm going to check is just any undercarriage, like hose lines, leaks. All the tomorrow morning will be a continuation of this, so I'll be checking all the fluids when they're cool. I'll be probably checking them out when they're hot too, just to make sure. Then I'm just going to check all the undercarriage of the caravan as well. So fluids, wheel nuts, hose lines. I'm going to look for any type of loose items as well, so anything that might be squeaking, cracking, rattling, moving, whatever, that all has to be tied down and stuff, because that road's going to be pretty damn rough in sections, as from what we've heard. Might just double check all the greasing on the tow hitch, and yeah, just check for anything that might be already loose. Tighten it up now. So our Bushtracker is a 2003 Bushtracker, 20 footer. It's 20 odd years old. She's got some kilometres under her belt now. She actually didn't too much when we first bought her. She didn't really have much use at all, which was really great for us. But now that it's been around, we've taken care of it, but it is showing its age. The things that we do to try and keep it, youthful and a little bit, problem-free. Things we've done so far recently is we have replaced all 4 tyres. The old ones had done nearly 3 times across the country, so that was done. The bearings, another thing that I've done I think I did it at Barn Hill Station. These seals, it's got a little bit of silicone still on it, so it looks a bit grubby. But these hinges, they're a weird rail-like bit of rubber, and you just sort of pull them apart, drill them, pot rivet it onto the door and onto the caravan, and that's your hinge. But these do fail quite a lot. I've done them twice now in the time that we've had it, which isn't too bad, but considering how much use we live in the van, so it's not too bad. But I do like to carry a length of this stuff in the tunnel boot, just in case it does fail. You don't want them coming off on the corrugations and stuff, so that's another thing that I've done to prepare. So to check the wheel nuts, usually when you put them on, you will tighten them up with a wrench or a ratchet or whatever. But it's definitely worthwhile getting a torque wrench just to check the torque specifications that you can find on the manufacturer's websites and forums and things like that for whatever vehicle you have. It's really one of the worst things you can do is over tighten a nut, because that could really endanger the actual stub. So the stud might actually come off, shearing the bolt, and that could just be catastrophic. Or it could just really ruin your day. So you really don't want that. What is advised is to get a torque wrench. It's nothing fancy, nothing super duper sophisticated. All it does is you set the torque settings on this by winding out this bolt and winding this out to the specifications or the numbers that is on the reader. Once you've done that, you get your socket or your locking nut, as most of these truck tyres require. Put it over there, over the stud, and then you just got to get to the back of it. If you've got like an extender bar, that'll be really quite beneficial. And just apply pressure until you hear a click. That's the torque setting. So you've just applied that amount of torque to that stud, and it is now done to the optimum level. If you don't do that, if you go under, may not happen tomorrow, may not happen the day after that, but eventually that stud could come off. If you over tighten it, that stud could still come off because you've over tightened it and it could just shear off. So it's really important, particularly when you're taking the vehicle through really rough terrain, which we're going to. We're going through some pretty rough, rocky, horrible stuff. And a little bit of mechanical sympathy goes a long way. So I'm just going through and checking all the studs on the truck and then on the caravan, adjusting the torque setting for both. And it shouldn't take you long. It's a simple job, and it pays dividends in the long run. It's also really important, and a lot of people that know will go, well, yeah, duh. But just in case you're watching this and you don't know, you never just go around the pattern of the nuts as you're tightening them. You always go across from the nut. So I've just done that one. Do that one moved a little bit. I'll go over here. I'll go to this one. And finish up there. That's that whole stud pattern done. The reason why is because it's supposed to pull the wheel to the hub nice and flat and even. if you go around the pattern, it may not sit even, and it may actually create a bit of wobble. And it's also just mechanically not a done thing. So start there, go across to that one, to that one, to that one, like in a style pattern, and you should be sweet.
So we're going to go onto the dirt road today, and I wanted to take you through and prepare the caravan, or how I prepare the caravan for the dirt. I usually don't do too much preparation just for travel, and I usually don't do a lot of preparation for just a standard dirt road. But the Gibb, we know it's rough, it gets a lot of traffic, so I'm going to do a little bit more preparation than I usually do. So I'm just going to take you through what I'm doing. So first of all, I've just done our standard things, so like lock all the windows, make sure all the buttons are pushed in on everything. So our TV just stays on the mount and it straps to the wall. As I said, it is a 20-year-old caravan, so it's got a different setup than a lot of the new caravans. My dirty fan, I just make sure that the fan is clipped to the wall and it's not going to come out. So my Fusion lock, we have sunscreen and moisturiser and hand sanitizer and stuff like that sitting in here all the time. I'm going to take these out and I'll put them in our little medicine cabinet, which is just up here above the microwave. So I take the microwave tray out of the microwave and I have this. So this pattern looks familiar. It's the cover from our bedspread. And the other little cover that came from a set of sheets. And I just have some bits of cardboard in there that also came with the sheets. And we've been travelling with that for nearly 3 years. It works fine. Obviously nothing fancy. I haven't purchased anything. I've just used what I've got. And I just chuck the microwave dish in there. So just have it all tied up in here. Every time we move, I do this. I put it into the little case. I always travelled with this in the microwave. I don't know if it's because our microwave is so old and it's 20 years old. The door was never opened. We did the Great Central Road, everything. It was in this case, just in the microwave itself. I'm going to do that again for the Gibb, and if we do have any issues and it ends up on the floor, I'll probably just store this on the bed. But yeah, I've never had any issues. Fingers crossed that I haven't just jinxed myself. Other thing in the fridge, and I generally do this anyway, is everything is in like containers in the fridge. So everything has a container. Again, so like when you open the door, some things move around, but you're not going to just get as much stuff like fall out of the door when you open it. So that is our Starlink. We did have it in the canopy, but for the really rough dirt roads, I think the canopy is a bit hard work on the Starlink. So we just transfer it and put it up on the bed so it's got a bit of a softer surface to bounce around on. So that case is from Out Camp. I can't remember how much it was, maybe $150 or something. I'm not sure I'll put the price down, but you use the packaging that came from the Starlink box. It sits inside the case. There's not much movement in there once it's all in there packed, and yeah, we're just keeping it on the bed. So it's got a little bit of a softer cushion for it to bounce around on. So our little caddy with hand soap and dish soap and everything just goes into the sink. Any open water jugs that we have will go into the sink as well. And I put the bin in the sink. So just pack it up so it's nice and tight and doesn't really move too much. And I just make sure that the tap, the lever for the tap is out of the way as well. In terms of dust, this window, we replaced the little winding mechanism, and now sometimes it doesn't close as firm as we would want it to be. It is a 20-year-old van, so all these, it's a different opening window mechanisms to the new ones. It's not like the slide up and down or anything. We just have a winder and it winds the window in and out. Sometimes we get a little bit of dirt through this back window. If it becomes a problem, I'll probably do some duct tape on the outside, but usually it's not so much that I'd worry about. I just can wipe the counter down and it's fine. And the last thing that I'm going to do just to prepare specially is we have extra water on board because we plan to be about 3 weeks along the Gibb. This Water Pro is not going to last us a full 3 weeks. We've been drinking a lot of water lately. It's cheaper to stock up in Broome than it would be to buy more water on the road. So I've just grabbed 7 water bladders. Just for context, we have an extra payload in the caravan spare. We've probably got about 200 kilos spare to us. So it doesn't really matter. Like, we're good to carry an extra 70 litres in water. Yeah, this is how I'm going to store them. Underneath our seat in the dining table, this is our wheel arch. So it's a good place to store extra weight. Now, if you're new here, we usually travel with jogs. We have left them at home with my dad at the moment, and that's why we're doing the Gibb and all these places without the dogs. But when we had the dogs, our table, we would fold it down at night and we would strap it down so that it was on top of the cushions, and we made a flat bed for them to sleep on. And I have the straps. The straps are still here. So we've just screwed the straps in on either side, and I'm going to use the straps, to feed through all of the handles of these water bladders to keep them secure so they don't like rock and roll around the caravan while we're travelling. It's a pretty tight fit at the moment, but as we drink through them, obviously there's going to be less and less through there. So that's our water storage, and we have a club lounge, and it's a swivel dining table so we can move it either direction. It's currently facing east to west. I'm going to turn it so it's north to south down the caravan, and it'll just stop it moving so much while we're on the dirt road. I can lock it down in place. If we do have a lot of issues, I probably will do that eventually, but it has been fine if I do this usually and I just turn it around. But if I do need to lock it down, I can lock it down. I just need to lift the cushions up and push it down into place if I need to, because it is a telescopic table leg. Obviously, make sure all your normal checks that you have to do in your caravan are done. This is all we do inside. I also flick off all the switches. So never travel with your water switch on if you don't know that already. We also just flick off all the other switches anyway because they don't need to be on. We leave our fridge on because our fridge is only through the 12 volt. Everything else is turned off. I did forget one thing to show you. In the bathroom, and this is just standard how we travel, we do have the Fusion Lock soap dispenser and toothbrush holder. And when we travel with them, or they just stay like this all the time, is I've put bands of elastic to hold them into the little holder. They have jumped out of the holder before when the elastic's not there, because sometimes we walk off to like the actual amenities block with that soap, come back and forget to put the elastic on. But when we have the elastic on, we've never had an issue with it coming off. So fingers crossed again. Hopefully I haven't jinxed myself. But that's what we do with those. Our shower head, I've actually never taken that off either. So I'm not going to take that off. I know people do take it off and put it into the sink, but we've never had a problem with that falling off. Again, could be jinxing myself. So the last thing I'm going to do is outside, and I'll show you that. Oh, that's the clip that I replaced yesterday. So it had broken off, which meant this part of the door flung open while we were travelling, which was not ideal. But it is lucky that we do have that water dust door that I could flick across, which locked it back in place so it wouldn't open again. I've now replaced the latch, so that should hold. Okay, so we really only close this
if we are going on dirt, or if the door flings open and we need to keep it closed. And I made this up the other day. It's just a really thick kind of towel, and I'm just going to fold it up and wedge it in to cover in the vent.
You don't have one of these on your van. I think by law you're supposed to now. Look, that's a whole can of worms, all the regulations and stuff. They change often enough. It's really important to turn this off at the valve and also at the bottle, just for, I don't know, extra insurance, I guess. Just make sure it's well and truly off and there's, minimises any chance of gas leaks. That's the last thing you want. I've heard of, there was actually one caravan, was it last year or the year before, that exploded on corrugations because of one of the gas fittings under the stove, but the gas was still flowing. So turn these off.
So we've come down to the Boab prison tree. Something that we thought we need to see. It's part of our history, but the history around it is not great, and it doesn't make you feel warm and fuzzy at all. The tree itself is magnificent and beautiful, but the story around the prison tree is not so.
It's horrible, yeah.
So the story goes is that the people came around and were taking prisoners and slaves, the Indigenous, the Aboriginals, and using them for the pearl farming, I believe. And when they were just walking them, 20, 30 kilometres a day across this terrain, they needed somewhere to house them, so they would squish them in to the Boab tree at night with a guard out the front so that they wouldn't escape, and so they could take them off to the pearling ships. So it's terrible, terrible history, and just atrocious that people actually have done that.
I will say this though, as far as a tree growth is concerned, it's spectacular. I've never seen anything like it before. And it's huge, and these things can live for thousands of years, or up to. I thought we saw some doozies just driving around, but this is definitely matriarch of all the Boabs, I reckon. Well, from what I've seen, there might be bigger ones, I don't know, but wow.
Just as we were walking out, one of the ATP tours just pulled in, and a whole busload of people just walked off. So that was very, very good timing. I'm just walking over, there's a windmill and a little water trough on the other side, so we're walking over there. Grant's bringing the car over. I'm just walking over to have a look at that as well. We're about to do the Gibb.
We're here.
Finally.
Yeah. I've only seen everyone else having photos at this sign. We're finally here doing it.
Finally. Wow. Long time in the making. We're really excited, and I don't know. Let's just get out there.
Let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
Let's go.
We just pulled up at our first camp on the Gibb, Lennard River rest area, and we're just setting up, and I can't show you if we got any dirt or anything like that into the caravan. It's because we haven't driven on the dirt yet. I didn't realise the blacktop went this far into the Gibb. So I think just past Lennard River is where the dirt starts, so we haven't even started on the dirt yet. So we've just come out for a little walk down to Lennard River,
and we're just on the side of the road. There's so much mulla just on the side. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's the right light for it and everything. What is it?
It's horrible, isn't it? Beautiful.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, it's really warm. Not really warm. I'm sure it'll still take my breath away, but it's still warm.
We're out for our first adventure on the Gibb, and we're at Windjana Gorge.
Yeah,
There's only a short walk open.
it's mostly closed due to the imminent wet season, but that's fine.
Yeah.
You can't win them all, but from what we're seeing, it's still worth it.
Yeah, beautiful. No drones, unfortunately. But yeah, okay. We're going to go on the little short 2K walk and take you along.
Yeah.
Wow, so tall.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. I've got to be very cautious. Far out. So we've made it to the end of the gorge as far as we can get. It's all close past here. Absolutely beautiful. Just spectacular. Definitely come here.
What are we about to do?
We're about to go into Tunnel Creek.
The tunnel.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that I would be anxious and nervous about doing it and going into the dark. But I'm not. So we'll see how we go.
Why aren't you?
I have no idea.
Has it got anything to do with the human decoys that we're doing it with?
Or maybe. Maybe, but I don't know. It's something I would usually be nervous about, but I'm not at all for some reason. But I'm looking forward to it.
Let's do it then.
Yeah. So apparently the trail, it's a 2 kilometre return trip and it should take about an hour to go in through Tunnel Creek to the pools on the other side. A little bit of a tight squeeze through the rocks to get into Tunnel Creek. This is really cool in here.
Both in,
Sorry,
stop it.
I keep looking at you.
Both in temperature, but also just, it's amazing. It's huge in here, and there's just massive stalactites. Huge, just hanging from the ceiling. Not like the big sharp ones, but just giant bulbous things. And when kids go away, it's dead cool.
Yeah.
Other than the odd screech from the odd bat.
Yeah. It's beautiful. The water's freezing.
Water is glacial.
And the footage in here, I apologise, is not going to be the best
No,
because
sorry.
it's just a torch and it's very dark. Actually, turn the torch off a bit.
Okay.
See, it's dark.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can't see it at all. At all.
Smells like guano. That's what that is.
I was going to say, that's bat poo if you don't know what that is. And it's from Ace Ventura as well.
Guano.
Hashtag Grant's a film nerd.
Just remember, if you look up, don't open your mouth.
So we're all packed up, about to hit the road and head over to our next campsite so we can drop the caravan off and then go hit Bell Gorge.
So join us next week when we tackle Bell Gorge, Galvin's Gorge, and make our way over to Mount Barnett to check out Manning Gorge.
Not bad, is it?